Have you ever wondered why your child is exactly who they are? That unique personality, that way of speaking, acting, expressing emotions, often leaves us intrigued, even challenged. Parents all over the world, at different times, have felt this same curiosity, this desire to understand. Is there a greater reason behind every detail of our children's lives? What you're about to discover now may surprise you and, perhaps, completely transform the way you view your relationship with your child, your family, and yourself. Stay with me until the end, because this reflection may touch your heart in ways you couldn't even imagine. Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, brought us profound teachings about life, family, and the purpose of each soul that comes into this world. Through psychographed messages, he reveals to us that each child is not born by chance, that every detail of their existence, from their talents to their challenges, has a spiritual meaning. And even though we can't always understand everything immediately, there is a silent invitation for us to look at our children with eyes of love, patience, and understanding. How many times have you found yourself trying to decipher certain behaviors in your child? Perhaps that difficult temperament, or a skill that seems so natural and surprising. Have you ever experienced this? What Emmanuel suggests to us is that each of these characteristics is not a mere coincidence, but rather part of a larger plan, a learning experience that transcends our everyday vision. It's as if each child comes into our lives bringing with them not only challenges, but also lessons that help us grow as human beings, and above all, as parents. Imagine for a moment that the way your child smiles, the way they express themselves, or even the way they face obstacles is part of a larger design, a spiritual journey carefully chosen before they were even born. This idea may seem distant to many, but for those who follow Emmanuel's messages, it becomes a powerful lens through which to understand unconditional love and the importance of every family experience. Stay with me, because what we will explore together goes beyond what meets the eye. It involves a deep connection with the essence of each child and the purpose they carry in this life. Throughout this reflection, you will realize that every moment, every gesture, and every challenge your child faces can be a learning opportunity, both for them and for you. What if I told you that understanding the why behind each child's arrival can transform the way you experience parenthood, bringing more patience, more understanding, and an even deeper love? This is precisely the perception Emmanuel invites us to have, showing us that nothing happens by chance and that each soul comes into this world with a specific mission, a reason that often escapes our immediate understanding. And it's not just philosophy or abstract reflection. These are psychographed messages that came through Chico Xavier, filled with sensitivity, affection, and a spiritual authority that touches the hearts of those willing to listen. What you'll discover here isn't just about your children, but also about yourself, your own learning journey, and how each family relationship can become more harmonious and meaningful. So, as you delve into this reflection, prepare to look at your child differently, to experience life more deeply, and to realize that every detail, every talent, every challenge was carefully thought out for them, and in a way for you too. And now, moving on to the next point, let's begin to unravel these messages and understand how Emmanuel explains the arrival of each child, showing that there is much more behind every smile, every tear, and every achievement of your little one. Have you ever stopped to think that every child who comes into the world does so for a reason much greater than just being born? That every smile, every cry, every unique way your child behaves carries a spiritual purpose that you may not yet have realized. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover can transform the way you view life, family, and most importantly, your relationship with your children. Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, left us profound teachings about why each soul chooses to arrive in this world in a unique way, in a specific family with predestined challenges, talents, and lessons. And these messages are not just philosophical. They help us understand that every detail of a child's life has meaning, even when it seems confusing or difficult to accept. According to Emmanuel, before birth, each soul makes important decisions. It chooses not only the family it will be born into, but also the lessons it will learn, the obstacles it will overcome, and the talents it will develop throughout life. It's a concept that may sound surprising, but it invites us to look at our children in a completely different way. Have you ever experienced that moment when you can't understand a child's behavior? It's a seemingly meaningless tantrum, or a skill that seems innate? Well, according to these spiritual messages, all of this has a purpose. There is no such thing as coincidence. Everything has a meaning that goes far beyond what we can see with our physical eyes. Imagine, for example, a child who struggles at school or has a more introspective personality. Emmanuel teaches us that these challenges don't arise by chance. They are part of a choice made by the soul itself before birth, a path that will allow the child to develop resilience, empathy, or creativity in ways that might not otherwise be possible. And by looking at these experiences with understanding and love, parents also transform. Each obstacle faced by a child becomes a learning opportunity for the whole family, and each achievement a reason for gratitude and reflection on the importance of each life's mission. And it's not just challenges that have meaning. Even a child's natural talents and inclinations are chosen by the soul for a purpose. That love of art, music, sports, or intense reading can be much more than a simple preference. It's a reflection of the child's spiritual abilities and experiences. When we realize this, we begin to understand that educating and guiding a child isn't just about teaching rules and values, but also about respecting and encouraging the path they themselves chose to take before coming into this world. The messages psychographed by Chico Xavier, with Emmanuel's guidance, invite us to reflect on these choices and realize that each life is a carefully planned gift. Every gesture, every difficulty, every talent is part of a grand spiritual plan aimed at the growth not only of the child but of everyone around them. It's an invitation to look at little ones with greater sensitivity and empathy, and to recognize that their presence in our lives is much deeper than we can imagine. And it's precisely this understanding that changes everything. When we understand that our children chose to be with us, that every detail of their lives has a purpose, we begin to see parenthood in a new light. With each step, with each choice, we realize we're participating in a larger story, a spiritual journey that involves learning, love, and evolution. And it's this journey that we'll begin to explore now, delving even deeper into Emmanuel's messages about how each soul chooses its family, its challenges, and its life lessons. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how different your relationship with your child would be if you could see beyond what meets the eye? If you could understand that their every gesture, every reaction, and every choice is part of a much greater purpose, planned even before they were born. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll discover now could completely change how you deal with the challenges and joys of parenthood, bringing more love, patience, and understanding to your family's daily life. The messages from Emmanuel. Chico Xavier's mentor spirit show us that each child's life doesn't happen by chance. They reveal to us that each soul chooses its family, its experiences, and even the challenges it will face, creating a unique path of learning and growth. And when we look at this carefully, we begin to realize that every complicated situation, every conflict or tantrum that arises, is not just a test, but a learning opportunity for both the child and the parents. Have you ever experienced that moment when your child's unexpected behavior deeply affected you, leaving you with unanswered questions? It is precisely in these moments that Emmanuel's spiritual teachings come into play, offering a new perspective on each experience in today's world. Where routines are fast-paced and family challenges seem ever greater, these messages become even more relevant. Imagine a teenager struggling at school or a child who seems more sensitive and introspective, unlike anything you expected. According to Emmanuel, these characteristics are part of spiritual choices made before birth. They are not flaws or mistakes. They are opportunities for the child to develop skills essential for their development, such as empathy, resilience, and creativity. And by understanding this, parents can respond with more patience and guidance, offering support without imposing expectations that could stifle the child's natural growth. Applying these messages to your daily life means looking at each situation with acceptance. For example, when your child faces frustration, Instead of simply scolding them or solving the problem for them, you can view this experience as a spiritual learning experience. Each challenge, each obstacle, is an opportunity to teach patience, courage, and understanding, helping to shape their character and strengthening the connection between you. This perspective transforms even the most difficult situations into moments of growth, creating a family environment where love and trust flourish. And it's not just theory. These are practical reflections that can be applied in any home. Emmanuel reminds us that understanding each child's mission doesn't diminish their freedom, but rather strengthens the relationship between parents and children. When you begin to accept and value each child's uniqueness, encourage their natural abilities, and recognize their learning pace, a space of respect and understanding is created that profoundly impacts family dynamics. It's as if each message, psychographed by Chico Xavier, comes to life within your own home, showing that spirituality can be experienced practically, in everyday life, in small details, simple gestures, in conscious choices made at every moment. And now, as we delve deeper into this reflection, you'll begin to see how these ideas can be incorporated into your family routine in a real, concrete way, transforming challenges into learning experiences and strengthening bonds that often go unnoticed. Let's continue exploring how Emmanuel's teachings can change the way we view our children, our family, and even ourselves. Have you ever wondered what the true purpose of each child's life is? That every gesture, every word, and every choice they make carries a meaning far beyond what we perceive in everyday life. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover could completely change the way you view your relationship with your children and the way you experience parenthood. Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, brought us profound messages about the importance of understanding that each life is unique, that each soul comes into this world with a specific purpose, and that each experience, no matter how challenging, is an opportunity for spiritual learning for both child and parent. Throughout life, we all encounter moments when we don't understand certain behaviors in our children. That unexpected tantrum, a difficulty at school, a talent that surprisingly emerges. Have you ever experienced this? Emmanuel reminds us that these situations don't happen by chance. Every child chooses before birth the paths they will follow, the challenges they will face, and the lessons they must experience. And by understanding this, we can realize that our children's obstacles and achievements are not just random experiences, but rather parts of a larger plan. It's carefully designed to help them evolve as spiritual beings. When we understand why our children are with us, we can love more deeply and guide them wisely. It's an invitation to look at each moment, each difficulty, and each talent with eyes of acceptance and empathy. Imagine if, instead of simply reacting to challenging situations, we could see them as opportunities for growth, both for them and for ourselves. Every frustration, every obstacle, and every achievement becomes a valuable lesson. And it is in this space of understanding that the connection between parents and children is strengthened. Stay with me as we explore together how these ideas can transform the way we experience parenthood, making each day more meaningful and filled with love. The messages psychographed by Chico Xavier, guided by Emmanuel, show us that life is a constant school and that each child who comes to us brings a specific mission. It's not just about education or discipline, but about recognizing and respecting the uniqueness of each soul, encouraging their development, and embracing their challenges with affection. When we can see our children this way, we realize that every difficulty, however painful it may seem, can be a gift in disguise, a learning opportunity that brings us closer to them and strengthens our own spiritual evolution. What if every obstacle your child faces were actually a way to prepare not only them, but also you to live deeper experiences with more love and understanding? What Emmanuel teaches us is that every child's life is unique, that each experience carries a special meaning, and that we, as parents, have the role of guiding and supporting them with wisdom and sensitivity. It's an invitation to reflect on the importance of each moment, each gesture, and each challenge, realizing that they are all part of a greater plan, designed for the growth of the entire family. Now, as you absorb this reflection, think, what if every difficulty your child faces were a gift in disguise? Reflect on that. And it is precisely at this point that we will continue, exploring further how Emmanuel's messages can guide us in our daily lives, helping to transform challenges into learning and strengthening the bonds that unite parents and children in a deep and genuine way. And as you reflect on all this, I want to invite you to actively participate in this conversation. If this topic resonates with you, leave a comment below with what touched you most, or an experience you've had with your children that made you see life from a different perspective. Sharing your own stories not only helps others going through similar situations, but also creates a space for exchange, support, and collective learning, strengthening this community of people seeking to understand spirituality and the purpose of our lives and the lives of those we love. And if you feel these messages truly touch your heart, please like the video. This simple gesture helps the channel reach more people who also need these reflections, allowing more families to access these inspiring and transformative ideas. Each like is a way of saying that these words are valuable, that they make a difference, and that you want more people to experience this kind of learning. I also invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Here, we strive to bring content that helps you understand spirituality, psychography, and Emmanuel's teachings in a practical and welcoming way for everyday life. When you subscribe, you're not just receiving new videos, but also becoming part of a community that values reflection, love, and personal growth. Your participation is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content, spreading messages of hope and understanding to those who need to hear it most. So, leave your comments, like and subscribe, because together we can continue exploring these ideas and lessons that have the power to transform not only our relationship with our children, but also the way we view life as a whole. And while you do this, we'll continue delving deeper into Emmanuel's messages, discovering how every detail of our children's lives can become a profound lesson and an opportunity for spiritual growth. Have you ever wondered why your child is exactly who they are? That every gesture, every word, every look carries with it a story that goes far beyond what we can perceive in everyday life. It's natural that, as parents, we feel constantly challenged to understand behaviors, talents, and even those reactions that seem incomprehensible. Sometimes we find ourselves wondering if we're doing something wrong or if our child simply doesn't fit into our plans, without realizing that there's a much greater hidden truth behind it all. Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, left us profound teachings about life, family, and the purpose of each soul that chooses to come to us. He invites us to reflect that each child is not born by chance, that every detail of their personality, every inclination, every obstacle, is part of a journey carefully planned even before birth, and that our mission as parents is to perceive, welcome, and guide them with love, without trying to control or impose paths that don't correspond to the essence of that soul. When we look at our children with this more attentive and sensitive gaze, we begin to see beyond what meets the eye. It's as if every smile, every moment of joy, and even every challenge is an invitation to delve into transformation. Not just theirs, but our own transformation as human beings. Have you ever experienced those moments when you feel lost in the face of an unexpected tantrum, an attitude that defies all your expectations, or a talent that seems to be born effortlessly? It is in these moments that Emmanuel's messages reveal their power. He reminds us that each child carries spiritual lessons, that every experience, good or challenging, is part of a larger learning experience, and that by understanding this, we can shift our mindset, ceasing to see difficulties as problems and beginning to see true opportunities for growth. Family life, as we know, is full of nuances. There are days when everything seems to flow smoothly, and others when small situations test us, forcing us to make quick decisions, often without being sure of what is right or wrong. It is precisely in this scenario that spirituality comes in as a guide, offering a different perspective on our routine and the relationship we build with our children. Emmanuel teaches us that every obstacle or difficulty that arises is not a punishment nor a coincidence, but rather an opportunity to develop qualities that might otherwise never emerge. What seems like a moment of tension or conflict can actually be a space for the development of patience, empathy, resilience, and understanding, not only for the child, but for us as parents, who are also constantly evolving. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because understanding the birth of each child requires looking behind the scenes of life, at the invisible decisions each soul made before birth, and at the revelations that can emerge when we begin to realize that nothing is random. Every personality, every behavioral choice, every talent or difficulty is not merely circumstantial, it is intentional. It's as if each child is a mirror, reflecting not only our own essence, but also bringing to light aspects of ourselves that often remain hidden. When we allow ourselves to observe closely, we begin to notice patterns, affinities, and even challenges that make us question our own history, our choices, and our capacity to love deeply and unconditionally. This realization generates a much more intense and genuine connection with our children. Suddenly, that irritating gesture becomes an opportunity for dialogue. That academic or emotional difficulty becomes an invitation to exercise patience and creativity. That innate ability becomes a chance to encourage and support without pressure, with love and respect for each child's individuality. And it is in this process that we begin to understand something that often goes unnoticed. Fatherhood and motherhood are at their core journeys of transformation. Each child challenges us, teaches us, and, in a way, guides us toward a more conscious, present, and connected version of ourselves. When we look at each child this way, we begin to realize the real impact our actions have on their spiritual and emotional development. Every word, every gesture, every decision we make in our daily lives creates effects that go far beyond the immediate. It's as if we're participating in an invisible choreography, where every movement contributes to the growth not only of them, but of the entire family. And it's this understanding that allows us to see our children not just as beings in need of guidance, but as souls who choose us and teach us, bringing to light profound reflections on love, responsibility, and purpose. And even in the most challenging situations, there is a hidden beauty, a silent learning experience that, when perceived, transforms the entire family dynamic. Emmanuel reminds us that what we often see as difficulty is actually a gift in disguise, an opportunity to practice virtues that strengthen bonds, stimulate individual development, and connect us with a greater vision of life. Every obstacle, every achievement, every moment of silence or joy brings with it a lesson that transcends time, routine, and everyday concerns, revealing the depth of the spiritual journey that each child and each family travels. And it is at this point that we begin to see that understanding the essence of our children is not just a matter of education or discipline, but of perception, attention, and sensitivity to the unique journey each of them has chosen to live. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, showing how these lessons are reflected in everyday life, in small actions, in the choices we make as parents, and in the way we impact our children's mindsets and emotional development. It is an invitation to explore the hidden truth behind every gesture and every situation, to understand the deeper meaning of each experience and realize how this entire connection can influence the transformation not only of them, but of the entire family. And as you absorb this reflection, think for a moment, how many times have you failed to see a valuable lesson in a situation that seemed merely difficult or exhausting? How many times has a gesture or attitude from your child revealed, without you realizing it, an invitation to grow alongside them, to exercise patience, empathy, and unconditional love? This is the beauty of what Emmanuel teaches us. Everything has a purpose. Everything carries a message. And every detail of a child's life is, in some way, a mirror of what we need to perceive and transform within ourselves. Comment there. I'm on this journey too. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if we could see beyond what our physical eyes show us and realize that every child who comes into this world does not come by chance? That every smile, every cry, every attitude that seems unexpected or even challenging to us is part of a greater plan, carefully planned even before birth. Stay with me as we explore this idea, Because what you're about to discover now could completely transform the way you view your children, your family, and most importantly, the role each of us plays in this great journey of life. Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, left us profound teachings about the essence of each soul, about the choices made before incarnation, and how these decisions directly influence how each child manifests in the world, from their personality to the challenges they face. According to Emmanuel, even before birth, each soul undergoes a process of profound decisions. It chooses the family in which it will grow, the obstacles it will encounter, and the lessons it must experience to evolve spiritually. It's a perspective that invites us to rethink how we interpret behaviors in everyday situations, leading us to realize that every difficulty our children face carries a greater purpose. There is no such thing as coincidence. Everything has a purpose that goes far beyond what we can see. By accepting this hidden truth, we begin to transform our mindset, moving from a reactive stance to a conscious one, capable of perceiving learning opportunities in every gesture, every attitude, and every choice our children make. Imagine, for example, a child who displays sensitivity far beyond the average, who becomes emotionally easily, or who reacts intensely to seemingly simple situations. For many parents, this can generate frustration or concern. But according to Emmanuel, these characteristics reflect spiritual decisions made by the soul itself, which chose this path to develop specific virtues, such as empathy, patience, and emotional perception. Each moment of challenge or conflict is not a mistake or a problem to be corrected, but rather an opportunity to reveal hidden talents, stimulate emotional growth, and create an even deeper connection between parent and child. And when we look at life through this lens, we begin to realize that even the small details of everyday life, an unexpected tantrum, a difficulty at school, or a naturally emerging talent are part of a larger design. A sequence of experiences consciously chosen by the soul. It's as if we're peering into an invisible backstage area, revealing the complexity and beauty of every spiritual decision made before birth. Each experience, no matter how simple or complex it may seem, impacts not only the child's development, but also the emotional and spiritual transformation of the parents, creating a ripple effect that touches the entire family. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because understanding these choices allows us to see our children's life journey in a much richer and more meaningful way. Think of a teenager who struggles at school or feels out of place in certain social settings. Emmanuel teaches us that these experiences are not coincidences, but rather part of a spiritual preparation. Each obstacle serves to foster resilience, self-knowledge, and emotional intelligence, while each moment of joy, success, or discovery reflects soulful decisions that seek to strengthen self-esteem, confidence, and a sense of purpose. When parents understand this perspective, they begin to act with greater serenity, offering support without pressure, understanding without judgment, and encouragement without comparison, respecting each child's individual pace. This perspective reveals something even more profound. Fatherhood and motherhood, when viewed from a spiritual perspective, become true journeys of transformation. It's not just about guiding or correcting behavior, but about understanding the essence of each child, realizing that every difficulty, every talent, and every choice are part of a greater plan, designed to generate learning and evolution. When this mindset is applied to daily life, situations that previously seemed challenging become understood as opportunities to grow together. Exercise patience and empathy, and above all, recognize the value and uniqueness of each child. And there's something even more fascinating about this process. The realization that each child is, in a way, a mirror. By observing their behavior, relationships, and reactions to challenges, we can learn about ourselves, identify patterns, discover hidden strengths, and even reveal aspects of our own souls that were previously dormant. Emmanuel reminds us that family life is a space for mutual learning, and that the impact of each soul's decisions transcends time and space, influencing the journey of everyone around them. It's a truth that goes beyond immediate comprehension, But that reveals itself every time we look at our children with attention, love, and openness to learning. When we begin to see life this way, we realize that every challenge is actually an opportunity in disguise, every talent a revelation, and every difficult moment brings with it essential lessons for the entire family. This awareness completely transforms the way we relate to our children, allowing parenthood to become experiences of connection, learning, and continuous growth. The understanding that nothing is by chance, that every spiritual choice has a profound impact, and that each soul comes with a specific mission empowers us to guide wisely, love deeply, and perceive the true richness that resides in every detail of family life. And as we reflect on this, we realize that everyday life, with its small routines, unexpected challenges, and moments of discovery, becomes a true laboratory for spiritual learning. Every attitude, every decision, every word spoken or unspoken carries with it a weight of meaning and impact, shaping not only the child's trajectory, but also profoundly influencing the mindset, choices, and growth of those around them. Spirituality in this context ceases to be a distant concept and becomes a daily practice. Silent revelations, conscious decisions, and a continuous opportunity for evolution. Now I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring how these soulful choices are reflected in everyday situations that all parents face. We'll look at everyday life, at the moments of tension, to small victories and frustrations, and understand how each experience, no matter how simple it may seem, can be interpreted as part of a larger plan. It is from this perspective that we begin to realize that each child, with their particularities, talents, and challenges, not only teaches us about themselves, but also reveals hidden truths about ourselves, about life, and about the journey we are all on together, in a continuous process of learning, growth, and transformation. Comment there. That makes sense to me. Have you ever noticed how we often get lost in the fast pace of everyday life, trying to solve problems, organize tasks, and still deal with our children's unexpected behavior? This is where the teachings of Emmanuel, Chico Xavier's mentor spirit, show their strength and practical relevance. He invites us to look at education and family life from a broader perspective, revealing that every gesture, every reaction, and every choice our children make has a purpose, a reason for being, and that it's up to us to perceive and embrace this with sensitivity and patience. It's not just theories or abstract reflections, it's an approach that transforms the way we relate to our children, bringing to light opportunities for growth for both them and us as parents, and allowing spirituality to manifest itself concretely in everyday life. Imagine a common moment in many families. Your child becomes frustrated because they can't complete a task, whether at school or at home. It's easy to react impatiently, correct them, or try to solve the problem for them. But Emmanuel teaches us that this frustration carries an essential lesson. Every difficulty is actually a learning opportunity in disguise. By allowing your child to face their challenges, offering support without pressure, and encouragement without imposition, you're teaching them much more than academic content or behavioral rules. You're helping them develop resilience, self-confidence, and emotional skills that will make a difference throughout their lives. This perspective changes parents' mindsets, as it makes us realize that each obstacle is part of a larger plan aimed not only at the child's growth, but also at the development of the entire family. Now I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because it is precisely in daily practice that these ideas become powerful. Consider, for example, a child who demonstrates unusual talents or interests that deviate from the expected norm. Many parents may feel confused or even insecure, questioning whether they are encouraging or guiding them correctly. Emmanuel reminds us that each soul chooses its gifts and inclinations before birth, and that our role is to recognize and nurture these abilities with care and love, encouraging individual development without imposing. Comparisons or external expectations not only strengthens the child's self-esteem, but also creates a family environment in which each member feels respected and valued. It's a paradigm shift, a transformation in the way we view the role of fatherhood and motherhood. making each decision more conscious and purposeful. And it's not just about talents or aptitudes, even moments of tension, conflict, or misunderstandings hold valuable lessons. Emmanuel emphasizes that these everyday episodes have a direct impact on the spiritual development of both children and parents. Every argument, every disciplinary challenge, or every moment of frustration can become a space to practice patience, empathy, and understanding. When we realize this, our mindset changes. We begin to value not only visible achievements but also the hidden lessons that emerge behind the scenes of everyday life, revealing the richness of each family experience. It's an invitation to transform every challenging situation into an opportunity for connection and growth, creating a deeper and more meaningful bond between parents and children. And if we look more closely, we begin to notice that these practical lessons reflect universal principles that extend beyond family life. They directly impact how we interpret decisions, face obstacles, and perceive the world around us. Every gesture of understanding, every word of encouragement, and every welcoming attitude become part of a journey of transformation, in which parents and children walk side by side, learning and evolving together. It's as if each daily experience were a microcosm of spiritual lessons, revealing hidden truths about life, education, and the unconditional love that unites families. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because it is in this attentive look at everyday life that we realize the true impact of conscious choices. By accepting and understanding each uniqueness, each talent, and each challenge of our children, we begin to create a safe space where they can explore their capabilities, express emotions, and develop essential skills. This process, guided by Emmanuel's messages, teaches us that educating is not just about teaching or correcting, but about perceiving, supporting, and accompanying, valuing the individual journey of each soul that manifests through the child. And it is precisely at this point that the practice becomes even more powerful. By consciously observing and interacting with our children, we perceive small revelations in every moment. A calmly spoken word, an encouraging gesture, attentive listening, all of these have a direct impact on a child's emotional and spiritual development, demonstrating that each moment, no matter how simple it may seem, carries profound meaning. It is in this space of attention and presence that real transformations emerge, both in the parent's mindset and in the way their children perceive themselves and the world around them. By internalizing this vision, we begin to realize that every difficulty faced at home, every challenge in coexistence, and every talent to be developed not only fulfills an immediate purpose, but also contributes to the ongoing evolution of the entire family. Education ceases to be merely a set of rules or external expectations and becomes a true process of connection, understanding, and spiritual growth. And as we grasp these lessons, we realize that everyday life is full of opportunities for learning and transformation, waiting to be recognized and valued. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this topic, exploring how each experience, each challenge, and each talent a child chooses can become a constant source of discovery and growth for the entire family. It is through this attentive look at everyday life that we perceive the real impact of the soul's decisions, the value of each gesture, and the importance of cultivating patience, love, and understanding as central elements of education and family life. It's as if, at every moment, we are uncovering the behind the scenes of an invisible journey, full of revelations and meanings that go far beyond what we can perceive at first glance, but which profoundly transform our relationship with our children and our own journey as human beings. Comment there. I'm on this journey too. When we stop to truly observe our children, we realize that each of them is a unique soul, carrying within them an essence that goes far beyond appearance, behavior, or measurable abilities. Emmanuel reminds us, through Chico Xavier's Psychographies, that each life has a purpose, and that our children's presence on our journey is not a coincidence, but rather the result of conscious choices made even before birth. Every gesture, every reaction, every lesson learned in our family's daily life is connected to a greater plan, visible to the naked eye, but deeply present behind the scenes. It is precisely this hidden truth that transforms the way we perceive fatherhood and motherhood, inviting us to adopt a mindset of acceptance, understanding, and patience, seeing each challenge as an opportunity for growth and evolution. Now I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because when we understand the uniqueness of each child, we begin to realize that all experiences, good or difficult, have a direct impact on the development of their personality, their emotional development, and the way they relate to the world. A child who demonstrates an innate talent for music, art, writing, or leadership, for example, carries within them soul decisions that led them to develop these abilities, and it is up to us as parents to recognize and nurture these inclinations without imposing external standards. Likewise, when a child faces learning challenges, emotional issues, or physical limitations, these situations are also part of a larger design, revealing essential lessons about resilience, patience, empathy, and determination, both for the child and for the parents who walk alongside them. This vision teaches us that every moment we live is a microcosm of spiritual learning. Every spontaneous smile, every celebrated achievement, and every challenge faced creates a profound impact on family dynamics, strengthening bonds, revealing hidden talents, and offering opportunities for continuous transformation. Emmanuel inspires us to realize that education is not merely instruction or correction, but rather a journey of discovery, a space where every decision our children make and every reaction we make shapes their understanding of themselves and the world. Every loving gesture, every encouraging word, and every welcoming choice contributes to building a solid foundation that sustains the emotional and spiritual growth of the entire family. When we can see life this way, everyday life becomes a true school of transformation, and difficulties cease to be obstacles and become valuable lessons. We realize that each challenge our children face not only reveals their abilities and potential, but also reveals aspects of ourselves that often remained invisible. The patience we need to exercise, the empathy we must develop, the wisdom we learn to apply in each situation. All of this emerges naturally when we begin to understand that each child's journey is also our own, shared and interconnected in a profound and meaningful way. And if we look even closer, we realize that the small victories, the mistakes, the frustrations, and the moments of joy are pieces of a larger puzzle, revealing the magnitude of the impact of each decision, each gesture, and each interaction. Emmanuel reminds us that there is no such thing as coincidence. Everything has a purpose that goes far beyond what we can see, and it is precisely this awareness that allows us to love more deeply, guide with greater wisdom, and accept the uniqueness of each child without fear or insecurity, but with confidence and gratitude for the privilege of sharing life with these special souls. When we understand why our children are with us, we begin to realize that even difficulties carry a deeper meaning. Every tantrum, every academic obstacle, every relationship challenge is actually an opportunity to practice patience, understanding, and unconditional love. Every moment that seems exhausting or challenging is, from a spiritual perspective, a gift in disguise, a chance for transformation for both them and us. And it is in this transformation that the true essence of parenthood is revealed, not just guiding or teaching, but accompanying, perceiving, supporting, and growing alongside each child, recognizing their purpose, their uniqueness, and their mission in life. Now I want to delve even deeper into this topic, because understanding that each child is unique, with their own journey and specific challenges, leads us to look at life with more lightness and admiration. It allows us to realize that every family experience, from the small details of everyday life to the greatest challenges, is an opportunity for learning, growth, and true connection. Every spontaneous smile, every gesture of affection, every achievement or difficulty brings with it revelations about life, about the soul, and about the impact our actions have on the emotional and spiritual development of those we love. It is through this attentive, sensitive, and conscious perspective that we perceive the beauty and depth of the role we play as parents, and the magnitude of the learning we receive from our children daily in a continuous exchange of love, teachings, and growth? What if every difficulty your child faces were, in fact, a gift in disguise? If every obstacle, every challenge, every moment of frustration were actually an opportunity for transformation for both parents and children, revealing hidden talents, strengthening bonds, and awakening inner wisdom? This reflection invites us to see family life as a space of continuous learning, of constant discovery and revelation, where every gesture, every choice, and every decision has a real and lasting impact, and where love, patience, and understanding become essential tools to guide and support each child on their unique journey. Comment there? That makes sense to me? And if you've made it this far, you've already realized how much reflecting on the arrival and purpose of each child can transform the way we view our family and ourselves. If this content resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving reflections and messages that help you see life with more clarity, love, and depth. Also, take the opportunity to leave a comment below, writing something like, "I'm with you until the end," or "This message was for me," just to let me know you've been here with me on this journey. And if this video touched you in any way, please leave a like. It's a way of recognizing all the energy and attention you brought as we explored these ideas together. There's a video here that complements this topic. Click it and stay with me there, because there's still much to discover about the impact of spiritual choices and how they shape our lives and the lives of those we love. Let's continue this journey together, learning to see each child, each experience, and each challenge with eyes of understanding, acceptance, and transformation.